Greetings. We are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We are very interested in your spiritual evolution, especially as it then gets reflected back to you in your systems. People there on Earth often complain about the systems that they are a part of and helped co-create without realizing that the changes to those systems that they desire must first be initiated within themselves. You will see radical changes in your economic systems, your systems of government, education, commerce, everything that could be put into that category. It all will be changing along with you. The radical changes will not occur overnight. This is something that we see promised by many New Age and spiritual teachers. They are promising you changes that will occur outside of you that will make everything better and that will happen all at once. We do not see this happening because most people don't change that quickly. You are changing, and you are changing gradually, and if you look at your systems, you can see how they are changing gradually with you. Over the course of several years, the changes will be enormous. But for right now, you need to accept, appreciate, and even celebrate the changes that you do see that are for the better. There is more transparency now than there ever has been before. You know more about these systems, and that is important. Now what you do with that information is also significant. You need to look within yourself for a match to it. Either the system matches something that is deep down inside of you that you cannot admit to, or it is a match to something that you cannot forgive, that you hold a lot of judgment around. Anything that you hold judgment towards and cannot forgive will stick to you like glue. And anything that you cannot accept that is within yourself, which is everything, will also be sticking to you like glue. So use the things you don't like about your systems right now as a way of determining what needs some retooling inside of yourself. We are talking about your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, judgments, fears, and so on. Those are your indicators of what still needs some tweaking inside of you. You can try to work outside of yourself without changing anything inside of you. You can go about it the hard way. You can start petitions. You can repost other people's articles and videos about what's wrong with society, or your country, or your government, or your economy. But until you look within for what you do not like that is outside of you, it will continue to be there, creating your reality with its vibration. It's very easy work once you get down to it. You just have to tune into what you are thinking or feeling, and let it go. It doesn't take years to do that if you really apply yourself and give it all of your attention in the moment. Then you will see slight changes here and there, promise of bigger changes to come, and before you know it, you will be living in that world you want to be living in with all the new systems that you would like to create right now with a snap of your fingers. It will take a little bit more time than that because the outside reflection does take time to catch up to the inner workings of the human, but one thing you can be certain of is that everything is changing all the time, and it is changing for the better because you are in fact ascending. We are completely enthused about what is to come for humanity. You have been living through some very tragic and trying times there on Earth, and there always is a rebirthing that occurs once humanity goes through something as traumatic as what you've been experiencing there with the pandemic. The world is becoming a better place, no matter what it looks like to you, no matter what you believe is really going on. It is becoming a better place because you are all raising the level of your consciousness. You are becoming more of who you really are through the trauma and the tragedy that you have been living through over the past few years. There has been more time for people to awaken because they have set aside their activities that they normally engage in, some of which are necessary and are activities that people like to engage in, but others are just things people did out of habit or obligation. And having more time to reflect and notice what is going on within the self is exactly what every person needed. Not everyone answered the call, but enough have, and as a result you are creating a better version of humanity, society, and life there on planet Earth. You can all start to relax and breathe a huge sigh of relief now because it is the consciousness shifting that will get you out of the pandemic once and for all. You will be rising up to be your more empowered, confident, and stable selves because you have had this time to reflect and go within, and you have been ready to create and receive a new and better world for a very long time. Now you are on the precipice of living in that new world, and you can get excited about it as well. Stop focusing on what is not to your liking about life there on Earth now, and start focusing on what you have been catapulted into as a result. The new world you are creating is a world that is better for everyone, and it is only through the raising of the level of consciousness that you would get to that world. You would never get there from a change in political ideology, a change in leadership, a change in policies. It was always going to have to be a grassroots movement, one that involved so many human beings that you would create this tipping point, and you have created it, and you can feel very good about yourselves and how much you have grown over the past 2 years. We see so many more human beings accessing the love, the peace, and the joy that exists within them. We see so many more heart-centered beings who operate from kindness and compassion and a desire for a better earth for all. And that's what you've been creating, and that is the world you are about to inherit. We are very pleased to find ourselves in this dynamic with humanity there on earth at this time. We enjoy so much the opportunity to serve, and also the opportunity to co-create with you, as we do hear from so many of you. And we are able to tailor our energies accordingly. We are seeking more and more union with humanity at this time, because of our desire to feel more of a presence. We enjoy exploring different forms of consciousness, and when we truly connect with any of you, we get to know the experience of being a human on earth through you, and that delights us. It is more than just a curiosity for us, it is true unity that brings us closer to Source, our true whole selves. Now, you can take the same approach with your fellow humans. You can see everyone else there on earth as someone to unite with who will ultimately bring you closer to your true, whole self as a source energy being, or you can continue to divide and separate, draw lines in the sand, and do the things you've been doing for so many years that haven't worked there on earth. We know, as those of you who receive these transmissions know, that there is a need for change. You cannot continue to say to yourself that your way is the only way, your truth is the only truth, your race or ethnicity is the best one, and evolve. There is a need for integration, there is a need for seeing that which is outside of you as also existing inside of you, and when you get to that point, you can lay down all of your resistance, resentment, and anger, and instead you can give the entire world and everyone on it a giant hug. The feeling of doing what we just described is so much better than what humans have been doing for eons and eons, and you will only get to that feeling if you put into practice what we are saying here. It is time to see everyone outside of you as an aspect of Source that you are meant to accept and then love unconditionally, and until you do, you will stay stuck in a box that no longer fits you. We will continue to invite you with our energy and with the extension of our consciousness, because when you merge with us, you merge with that truth that we are all one. We are very practical in our approach to our own spirituality. We look at what is working for us and what isn't, and we make changes based on what we are feeling about a particular practice or a particular focal point. Our spiritual evolution is tied to yours, it is very similar, in fact. We are growing and expanding our consciousness to move closer to Source, and that is the goal for all beings, whether they know it or not. Different people choose different paths, but ultimately we are all headed in the same place, the same direction. We invite you to look at what is your approach to your spirituality and whether you feel that your consciousness is growing and expanding and bringing you closer to that source energy vibration that you seek, and we all seek. You have to be able to feel into the different approaches that you take to your spirituality to notice when one thing is working and another isn't. That is how your sensitivity serves you, and that is why feeling your emotions is always a good idea for you. We advise you to pay closer attention to yourself throughout the day. Notice your thoughts, your words, your actions. What is habitual about you and your life? And then ask yourselves whether what you are doing is working for you. Is it actually getting you where you want to go, or are you doing it because you think it's what you are supposed to do? There will also be approaches to spirituality that will keep you stuck in the same place, and you need to know about them. You need to know that thinking the same thoughts over and over keeps you in that same position where those thoughts are coming to you. That means it's time to make a change, it's time to alter your vibration so that you attract better feeling thoughts to you. And it's also time to catch yourself before you go down a train of thought that you know isn't going to feel good and isn't going to get you anywhere. Sometimes changing actions, even the smallest ones, can make a huge difference in your lives and in how you feel. Ask yourselves if you are pushing yourselves too much. Are you getting very rigid about your practices, about the things you think you must do in a day? And pay attention to how you feel when you talk to other people. You will always be able to tell whether what you said was helpful or not by how you feel. And maybe you think what you say will be helpful to you, but then you feel the discord as you start to talk about a topic, and that's when you have to catch yourselves. This is what spiritual growth and evolution is all about. It's about looking at yourselves. And when you do, you can make huge leaps in your progress in a very short amount of your time.